wondered how product management enables you to jump from field to field, industry to industry, and even industries that don't even align themselves with product? Well, fear not, because today we have someone who's done exactly that. In this Lorong product episode, we dive deep into Jing Xuan's journey as a product expert. Don't miss the end where we play a very fun game with her where she has to defend two products in a round of product code. I'm Advait and I'll be your host today. Today we're joined with Jing Xuan, who is a UX designer at GovTech Singapore, contributing to digital services for public good. Before that, she cut her teeth in product-oriented roles and student initiatives, including co-founding the publicity efforts at NUS Product Club. If you've ever seen this banner before, well, it was designed by her, where she helped design also the website and the brand aesthetic through hands-on UI and UX product decisions. So, Jing Xuan, thank you so much for joining us today. Firstly, could you introduce yourself and talk us through a little bit of your journey?
Hi everyone, I'm Jing Xuan. I'm currently a UX designer in GovTech, as he mentioned. So previously, I've done also product management roles and in internships, and I was also a publicity member in NUS Product Club. Yeah, and I was also a comms and new media major, so maybe something a little different from usual product management backgrounds. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much. I think let's just start the episode off. I want to start off on something a little lighter, something that we've probably not had the opportunity to ask a guest before. And that's because you're a founding member of NUS Product Club, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't ask you for a few secrets. So, as a founding member, I'm sure you know a few secrets that we might not know. So, could you tell us some? And also, could you also tell us what was your best memory of NUS Product Club?
I think maybe one secret is, the website itself. Previously, we built on many different types of different third-party services, and then eventually we just decided to ship it quickly, right? So Harry, our publicity head back then, our president back then, he just helped quickly created the Google site version of the one that we created in other third-party ones. So I guess that was quite an interesting.
Nice. And what was your highlight? What was your best moment of being part of NUS Product Club?
I think there was one really big event in Product Management Club, the Product Networking Night, the one with SMU, NTU, and NUS. I think that was quite an eventful night, and it was quite interesting and quite cool to see everyone, the 3 different schools coming together, and then there are so many different product managers there also to share their experiences and opinions about things. And I don't know, that really made me feel quite happy to see, there's such a community out there. And through, in I think 1 or 2 years' time, within 1 or 2 years since NUS Product Club founded, suddenly, such a big product community was formed.
Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And one more question. What's the most useless but oddly satisfying feature you've seen in a product?
I don't think any feature is really useless. I feel that most of it is there for a reason. But one thing that I find really satisfying is those loading animations that you see. And I especially like the ones that I use in the cloud code. They have those very playful messaging.
Yeah, right.
It's shimmering or cooking, and they have those blinking effects. So even though I have to wait quite a while for it, I still feel quite okay with waiting.
You're entertained while you're waiting. All right, perfect. Cool. So now that we're warmed up a little bit, let's get straight into your journey and foundations in product and eventually as a UX designer. So, JX, you've had an incredible career journey. From being a product management intern at Match Hub and Love Bonito Group to a UX designer at GovTech Singapore. I want to ask you and I want to dive deep into what first drew you into product management and how were these experiences for you?
Right. So when I was in year 1 in university, I was looking for different opportunities within the tech industry. So I knew I was interested in UX design back then, but to be honest, it's a bit difficult to go into UX without a portfolio. And at year 1, I didn't really quite have a very good portfolio to showcase. So I did the experiential internship with Match Hub, so that gave me a very brief introduction to product management. It was just maybe a few weeks long for each role that I tried out. And I had really good mentors there who helped me identify my weaknesses and my strengths and after the internship ended, she kind of told me, maybe you should try out product management in your future internships. So that was how I started to get like the ball rolling. And my next internship, I tried for a product management role. And during the internship, I think I started to learn more about product management. So stuff like how to write like the user requirements, how to conduct user interviews, how to do competitor research. I think that really helped me to start my product management journey.
Wow, that's lovely. I mean, I think that's a takeaway for our audience as well, that you don't really need to be into one realm. Instead, product can help you move into so many different fields and industries. Something else that was really interesting is that you actually come from a communications and mass media background. And usually when people think of product, I mean, communications mass media is not the first thing that comes to their mind. So how is it for you to adjust to a role where people are more technical or they come from more technical backgrounds?
I think definitely there is a steeper learning curve. There's a lot of technical details that we might not know at the start. And I think as like now I'm a UXD, right? But previously I was also a PM intern. So back then, I think you just need to know the amount of technical detail that is enough for you to get the task done. So you don't need to know like the very in-depth technical details, but at least like know what are the limitations, how does it affect the thing that you want to do. So I think that helps. And in product management, there are different kinds of PM roles, right? So I don't go for the very technical ones, like for example, payments PM or accounts PM. I tend to go for the more front-facing ones, so more user-centric roles. So that kind of helped to ease the curve more. But I think definitely there is still a learning curve. And one tip I would give is, and actually I learned this from one of the product managers in my company also, is to use AI, right? And then you just tell it, use metaphors to help me understand this term. And then it helps me to like visualize and picture how to understand this like terminology, for example.
Wow, that's a new hack to use metaphors. I've not thought about that one before. Okay, I mean, to wrap up the beginning segment of your career, I just wanted to ask you were thrown into product at a very early stage in your career. So, what were the biggest lessons that you learned very early on? What would you like to share with our audience?
I think the very early on ones is like you always have to be curious about why some decisions are made a certain way and always ask why. I think in product management experience also, y'all will always go through the 5 whys, and this framework is like used in a lot of ways. And I think that is the first thing that I feel is very, very crucial. And even up till like all the different products that I've worked on, I think this has been consistently utilized throughout.
All right. So, Jex, now that you're working as a UX designer, how does your product background influence the way you work today?
Right. So I think in my previous product roles, usually, at least for those roles that I had, the product manager will kind of define the features that you want to create, write the user requirements, acceptance criteria, and whatnot. But in my current role, I think the designers have a little bit more autonomy in terms of that. So if I were to use my product background, it would be like now when I design, I will start off by writing like the jobs to be done or like the user stories. And then afterwards, you write the user requirements and the acceptance criteria for the feature. And I'll use that as a guideline to help me design the features. And also after designing, we also have a UX backlog, right? So it could have like a long list of things. So for that, in PM, you also learn prioritization. I think this came in very handy in helping me to prioritize and proposing which features should be launched first rather than launching all at one go.
Lovely. So you say like product management taught you to follow a kind of system and you were able to bring that into UX.
Yeah, so like the writing parts of the user requirements and then the prioritization frameworks, I think those were helpful.
Okay, perfect. Okay. You know what? Let's pivot a bit. Like we've been talking about product a lot, but now I want to get into UX and I want to have it so that our audience who's interested in going into this field can have a few tips coming from you itself. So I think I'd start off by saying or asking, for someone early in their career, would you suggest that they follow a route like something you took where it's UX but also product, or would you say they hyper focus on UX itself?
I think it depends on the individual itself. I think for people who are really certain they want to do something, then of course you should go do the role that you want. But I think it's always good to explore more, so you never know which role you might enjoy better. Because in my product management roles, internships previously, sometimes I would look at the UX designers and I would think like, hey, that's actually what I want to do instead. So that kind of made me think like, hey, I should explore this field also. Like I shouldn't just constrict myself to product management, even though those are the internships I've been doing. I think up till like year 2 or so. Yeah. Then year 3, I decided to really try out for more UX related roles.
Lovely, lovely. So, what would you say is the mindset that someone or an individual that wants to get into UX, what's the mindset they have to follow, or some traits that you see successful UX designers have?
I think for UX design, actually, tools and resources is very important, actually. Okay. So having the initiative and trying to be resourceful is very important. So I think early on in my career, I feel like I had quite a lot of challenges in trying to do certain things, and taking the initiative to try to find a network to help you solve these challenges, finding a mentor to help you find these challenges, to solve these challenges, I think was really useful. And now also with a lot of different AI tools coming out, actually we really need to keep on trend and evolve together with it. So now there are different things like Claude or like Figma Make.
Of
So
course.
yeah, well, there's so many things going on with Claude Code also. So as a designer, there's a lot of things to keep up with, and I think it's important to be resourceful in that sense, but also being able to take initiative. So one instance is like, for example, when I was doing my internship, honestly, there were periods of a lot of free time per se, or like there was nothing very crucial for me to do. But I think taking the initiative to like identify gaps in the work that is being done, I think that is something we can do as interns.
Okay.
Yeah, or trying to ask more questions about why like certain decisions were being made. Yeah, so you don't really need to be like take on huge responsibilities during internships, I feel, but at least you need to use it as a way to understand the decisions being made.
Okay. I mean, you mentioned AI right now, and I wanted to ask, do you think AI has made your job easier or harder? And harder in the sense of, oh my God, AI can do everything that I do on a day-to-day basis. So are you a bit worried as to where AI can really take the UX designing field?
I think it has made my life easier as of now.
Okay, as of now,
Yeah.
that's a good. Okay.
But it's also difficult for me because difficult for a lot of designers also, I feel, to keep up with the different tools and constantly like upskill yourself in the different tools. So now we don't even, like in my company, sometimes we don't even do Figma prototyping anymore. We just do straight to like what they call like vibe coding.
Okay.
Yeah. Or we use like different AI to ideate. So different AI models can generate different ideas, for example, and then you use them as your like diverging tool. And then when you converge, then you can also use AI to iterate your designs quickly. So I think AI itself, it helps you to speed up the process, but it doesn't really take away the human in the loop, I would say.
Okay.
So an instance is like if you're doing user research,
Okay.
a lot of the times I feel AI can help with helping you find the findings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it can help you like cluster different user nodes, for example. But
Okay.
I think the insights portion, trying to find something like an opportunity for your company to work on, I've tried using AI to do that, and honestly, I think it still cannot replicate the quality that a human is able to do.
Okay, so I think you're giving all of us good feedback and giving us hope that our jobs are still going to be there for sure. You know what? I want to get into something that you had mentioned earlier. You said that you'd advise people to work on a lot of projects and try to understand how to really implement product management when we were talking about it last. But when I've done research on UX, I think a lot of employers also look at individual projects when they go to hire a new employee, right? And so I wanted to understand from your personal experience, what was one project or something that you had worked on that gave you an edge in the job market?
A project. Actually, as I feel that many people think that school projects don't matter that much, but actually I do think that if you put in a lot of effort into a school project in one of the courses, it can benefit you a lot and you can put it on your portfolio. So for UX design, there are two courses which I find is really helpful in helping you build your portfolio. One of it being the interaction design one, and then the other one, sorry, I can't really remember the second one. It's also related to UX design, but I can't recall as of now. But
That's
it's
okay,
under
that's fine.
NM. So
Right.
if you want, you can go and search it up. It's one of the UX courses. So those two, I feel, helped me build up my portfolio and also helped me get the theory knowledge that I was able to use in, like, for example, interviews or like case studies. Oh, now I remember the NM course is the mobile interaction
Okay,
design.
perfect.
Yeah. I think actually school projects are a good point to leverage. But other than that, your side projects could also show that you have the passion in this field. Yeah.
I think that's the end of our segment. And I think the only way to encapsulate all of this is your career is a complete 180, but it's actually so inspiring because you went into one field and you realized that from learnings through that field, you could apply to another. And you've gone and you've become a UX designer now. And I hope all our audience can really take away from that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. All right, time for something a little less serious, a little bit more fun. Let's play a quick round of PM product code. Now, this is a new game segment that we're including, but I promise you it's going to be fun. And this is a completely fair, unbiased, and totally not made up code of law. Yeah. So in product code, what we do is we put products on trial the way a PM would, and we question incentives, trade-offs, metrics, and long-term user value as well. So I'll be your judge for today, Advait, and our guest today is the very talented, very bright, very smart JX, who is fighting for the product's reputation. And today, the product on trial is Instagram. Now, that is one of our favorite apps, but today it's on trial, and you have to defend it. So, Instagram, please stand up. You are charged with algorithmic attention extraction, optimizing for short-term engagement at the cost of sustained focus and long-form content. You're also charged with creator-consumer boundary erosion, meaning you push users towards constant content creation to sustain platform growth. And lastly, you're also charged with data-driven hyper-targeting risks, which you leverage long-term behavioral data in ad delivery. Now, before the defense begins, let's be very clear. Instagram's core product goal is growth through engagement and creator retention. And with that in mind, are you ready? You have 60 seconds. 60 seconds begins now.
I think Instagram is great because it came in at a very timely manner. It came in when mobile phones camera was starting to get really powerful.
Okay.
And that was when it made the entry to the market, right? So he also made use of influencers to help with like creator engagement, like creating more traction in Instagram. And even now, they're using a lot of different engagement tools. So for example, you can see posts that your friends like, and then now there's also like infinite scroll. So it keeps you constantly engaged. And they even change like the different positions of like, let's say the DMs and the create button. So that is very intentional, I feel, is for them to like engage more maybe with the DMs, and maybe creation of posts is not that
15 seconds, 15 seconds. Keep going, keep going.
It's not that often used.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else I should say. And yeah, they're also keeping in trends with like Snapchat, with all the stories, and also TikTok with the reels.
Okay, there you go. 60 seconds done. You missed an opportunity to shout out your Instagram. If I was you, I would have done that. Okay, quick cross-examination. I want you to answer these questions as fast as you can, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Would you ship Instagram from scratch in 2026 with the same growth model?
2026. I think 2026 is the era of like where AI is starting to grow.
Right.
So perhaps there could be more AI related features. So an example, maybe you can have like auto filters that match your style and theme of your feed. So now it only has auto filters by default, default auto filters, but maybe it could be more personalized.
Okay.
So something more hyper personalized maybe. But I do think that some stuff that they did should be continue to do. So stuff like using a more mobile first design. So they have also changed the dimension to be more mobile first as well. Yeah, and also the adoption of real stories. I think these are all things that I would still do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. And is Reels a TikTok clone, or what do you think? Do you think Instagram copied TikTok, or do you think TikTok copied Instagram?
I think I think Instagram kind of copied TikTok in that sense, because if you look at the UI, right, it's
Right.
so obviously
The
almost
same.
exactly the same.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a necessary thing that they have to do, right, to keep
Right.
up with
Definitely.
the other competitors.
Okay. And if you were working for Instagram, what's one feature you would kill absolutely from the app? So, what's your least favorite feature of Instagram?
I know it makes sense to show like posts that your friends like, but if I like a post, I don't want other people to see.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Now, I don't want to be
Yeah.
worried about the post
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
liking.
invading on my privacy a bit. Like now I'm very like concerned about what posts I like.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Okay. You know what? I've heard enough. The court has decided. Instagram is found not guilty. You did it. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well
Yeah.
done. All right. Cool. So we have one more product for you to do. Firstly, how was the game? Did you enjoy that one? All right. Perfect. Because we have one more product, and that product is LinkedIn. Okay, so LinkedIn, please stand up once again. You are guilty for ranking storytelling content higher than international content, optimizing for visible productivity signals that encourage performative behavior, and lastly, you are also charged with weak penalties for low signal engagement. And Jex, once again, you have 60 seconds to defend LinkedIn. Okay,
Yeah,
60
really.
seconds begins in three, two, one, go.
I think LinkedIn is a great opportunity for you to build your network, because previously you had to go to like career fairs to like talk to different people, but now you can do it online, and it's so easy to like reach out to these people. And even in your job search process, you can also look at your hiring manager. You can look at your the people who are in the organization, and you can reach out to them earlier to ask questions. I think these are all very good things that I feel maybe it was very difficult to do before LinkedIn had started. And what else? And currently there are a lot of LinkedIn influencers, right? I think those are great actually. Like it depends on the kind of LinkedIn influencers you follow. So if you follow those like legit like professionals who have like a lot of expertise, I think it's actually a very good learning opportunity. It's a very easy access to great knowledge.
Perfect. Right on the dot again. Like Instagram, let's go back. I'm gonna ask you three questions. Quick thinking. I mean, quick answering. No thinking. Just quick. Okay. Do you think LinkedIn's more cringe or more useful?
I think it's cringe, but it's useful.
Both, huh?
Yeah, but I think
Okay.
it's more useful. Yeah.
Okay. You just mentioned LinkedIn influencers. So would you remove them from the platform? Yes or no?
No, and in fact, I encourage you to look for more LinkedIn influencers.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are great opportunities to keep up with the trends, I feel, or like keep up with the industry.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
also like portfolios, I think those are great ways for you to see like amazing portfolios out there.
Definitely. And like the Instagram question again, what is your least favorite feature of LinkedIn? What's something you would delete today?
I also understand why they rolled out games and like why they
Oh
provide
my God, yeah.
notifications on games, but sometimes the stuff that they show in games, I feel is like it's not very believable. Like you're 90%, you're smarter than 90% of CEOs.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. They're just
yeah.
giving us false hope.
Yeah, I mean it's quite funny, and I guess it drives engagement. It gets people to like send this to their friend, haha. But
Definitely.
it just feels a bit lame to me to see like, oh, is this really true? I don't think so.
Definitely.
Yeah, just from a game. Yeah.
Perfect. I've heard enough once again, and you've done it again because LinkedIn is found not guilty. Well done. And that concludes today's session of Product Court. Justice has been served.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay, so throughout this conversation, we followed your journey from early product roles to discovering your passion for UX design. And I think before we wrap up, I'd like to end all of this by tying it all together for a simple reflection for all of our audience here today. So, I think my first question, or the last question of the episode, would just be if you had to give students one practical checklist or one mental framework to follow, not necessarily to get into a product role or UX design, but in general, when they move on to their careers, what would that be?
I think be courageous. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think as students, you will definitely make a lot of mistakes, but I mean, not students, as someone who's like early on in the career, you make a lot of mistakes or something like that. But actually, from those mistakes, those are the ones that I learned the most from. And actually, if your team is good, they'll be really accepting on it, and it's a growth opportunity for you. So just be courageous and just do the thing that you want to do, try out different things. So yeah, just have an open mind.
Lovely. That's perfect advice. I think one more thing I'd like to add is, or I'd like to ask, is what is something or a mental framework you'd like to give students so that they can help think like a product minded designer or a user centric PM?
User-centric PM.
So essentially combining UX into product and product into UX. What is a mental framework that you would like to?
For me, I think both roles are quite intertwined. Actually.
Right,
So
exactly.
I'm like thinking, how do I?
Is there
kind of
like one quality that would be really good to possess when you're going through a role like this?
I think maybe for product-driven UX designer, maybe one thing you can think about is like stakeholder management. Whether like if you show this data, right, you have to be very careful to your business owners. Are they really going to be happy if you show it this way?
Right.
How are you going to present it in a way that ensures a relationship does not get hurt?
Right.
Yeah. So, and also, how do you present your information, and in a sense that like whether it achieves the metrics that you set out for, the success metrics that you set out for. And in terms of product, the opposite, so UX, user-centric product manager, I think one thing that you can keep in mind is ground yourself in like the user requirements. So always think about the jobs to be done or user stories rather than the feature itself.
All right, JX, thank you so much for joining us today, sharing your entire journey with us. I think you've really shown that if you absorb skills from one field, you can go and transfer it to another. And I'm sure that's going to be entirely inspiring for all the students tuned in. I think your journey really shows that careers in product and design don't necessarily have to be linear. But once you start in product, you can always get into design. And once you start in design, you can always get back into product. So thank you once again. We've really had a wonderful time having you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
For listeners who'd like to connect with JX here, please find a LinkedIn here, right here. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in to our newest episode of Lorong Product. And if you want to check out any of our older episodes, please make sure to click over here.